actually just emailed
What are you
it
gonna
to
do
me.
for us? Take some?
Taylor Devil used to be on that. He's a real super guy.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to come together this evening to conduct the city's business, and we pray that that you give us wisdom and guidance as we do so. Lord, we ask that you place an extra hedge of protection around our city employees and all of our first responders as we move in to our busy summer season. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Call to order City Council meeting of May 16th, 2024. JP, will you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Vicky, will you call roll?
J.P. Hodges,
Here.
Lewis Short,
Here.
Lane Tubbs,
Here.
Jim Adams,
Here.
Melissa Choate, here, Allie Sugg, Jim Lay,
Here.
Andy Eklund,
Here.
Attorney Prince,
Here.
Mayor,
Here.
members of the press.
Allie said that she would probably come in late. Okay, first I need a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve the minutes as presented of the April 18th, 2024 City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Second.
Thank you. Vicky?
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Abstain. Yeah.
Lewis Short,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, I need approval of the payments journal dated April 1st through April 30th, 2024.
I move we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Vicky?
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Lewis Short,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Motion carried. Now, I know some of the financials were late getting to you guys. Do you want to wait to approve these, since it was just the income statements, or do you guys feel comfortable moving forward?
I looked them over, it looked fine. I just want to make sure we're approving the proper.
The correct thing?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll need approval of the street fund financial, sanitation fund, general fund statement, community center, and O&M and miscellaneous funds dated April 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Vicky?
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Jim Lay.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, you have your supervisor reports in your packets. Do you have any questions for our supervisors? Okay. Next up, we'll get to unfinished business, trail update by Mr. Clint Bell.
All right, I think everybody has a package that I sent out through email, through Casey there. That kind of details what's left to be completed on the project. There's 2 pages there if y'all want to look at that right now. So we have, we were tasked, the Trails Council, with a completion priority list. And that is one of the 2 pages you have. 13 items that are remaining, and the total shortfall is right about $330,000. If you'll remember, we had a workshop kind of kicking this thing off, and we had to pull out immediately after the bid $411,000. So the original bid was over $1 million. So we immediately pulled out $411,000 and kind of started from there. And that's why you have a pretty large shortfall. That, and there was a couple items that did overrun through the project. He installed quite a bit more shell than was anticipated, mainly being that he's in kind of some wetter working areas. And to continue the project, he used some shell. The core portion used quite a bit more shell because it was actually rockier than he anticipated and that I anticipated in there. So there was some overruns on the shell, significant overruns. But I did talk to Casey early on in the project, and I anticipated that. I did not quite anticipate what it came in at, but I anticipated a large overrun, and we kind of talked through that. We both agreed it was better for the trail and the longevity of the trail, so we continued, installing the shell. I can speak that Bobby's not putting in anything that's not needed. I trust that he is installing the trail for the betterment of the trail and the longevity of this project. It's a unit price schedule, so it's not like he's getting paid extra for anything he doesn't do. He only gets paid if he installs the extra shell. He gets paid by the cubic yard. He also only gets paid if he installs the culvert. So there's not anything he's getting paid for that he didn't do. It's just a unit price schedule. So if he does more stuff, he gets paid additionally. We also had a couple underruns, the main one being the B-stone, the rock. So that was kind of anticipated to bridge some of the softer areas. He's used shell most of the time instead and not used much B-stone. So we were about 47,000 under on the B-stone. So that leaves, that shortfall there, 330,000. Most of that is asphalt, 227,000. So that was pulled out of the original contract after the bid, and we were hoping to get that put back into it. That was kind of the talk at the original workshop. I think Jim was there, and maybe Melissa. We kind of talked about that, hoping that would be, we'd be able to reinstall that and put that in at the end of the contract. So that's kind of where we stand today. This is the numbers. These numbers will be very accurate because we're getting towards the tail end of this, and I feel confident. I've worked through all these numbers with Bobby, and we've had several back and forths on these numbers. he's good with everything. I think everything is detailed in what's left in the contract. So you should be able, I kind of tallied them up as they went, but the Trails Council actually wanted to complete them in the order they're listed. So number one, we have to do, because that's just what's left. That's the remaining lump sum items due to the contractor upon completion of the project. So he's already due that money, just hadn't been paid out. And then 2 through 13 is kind of the priority list in the order that they want. So they have kind of offered, the Trails Council feels like they could complete items 12 and 13 with volunteer labor. And that would put the total cost remaining at about $300,000. So that would remove painting the bridge and the signs and the sharrows and stuff. Do that with volunteer labor. And I would like to just kind of speak on the project as a whole. I think Frank would like to talk a little bit about that too. But I don't know if all of y'all are aware, but this project was started in 2010, and it's a 14-year project. And I'm super proud to be part of it because this is probably, in my experience and in my whole history, this has had the most volunteer hours of any project I've ever worked on. I mean, these people, the Trails Council has worked for years to get this where it is. And I feel like we're really close to the finish line. And I would just encourage you guys, I know there's a lot of fighting for different monies, but I would highly encourage y'all to consider pushing it all the way to the finish line. Because it's a good project, and there's been a lot of volunteer hours on it, so.
I think our biggest issue when we were talking about this last month was just the lack of communication, and like this information is different from what we had that we were looking at. So there were lots of questions that
Yes.
weren't getting answered. And that workshop that you referred to, it was around 200,000. And so
Right.
we were looking at like a 400,000. So we were like, what? We were trying to understand, and no one could provide that information.
Yes.
So
Okay. Well, I apologize for the communication issue. I think the number last month was 325. So the additional 5,000 was in culverts. I think Bobby's number that he gave you was significantly higher, but it was incorrect. So,
It was.
okay.
but I didn't know
So that's- yeah.
I didn't even know he'd given you that number. But he took the original $1 million contract.
We just
and
want to
had-
be good stewards. You
Yes.
know, and
Oh,
be able to
absolutely.
explain when someone asks,
Yes.
well, gosh, y'all went really we went over on this project so much, why?
Yeah.
And so when we were discussing it last month, wasn't the conversation about, there was, like, the wet part, we didn't hear about that, but it had to do with heights,
It was
Like-
too low for water.
because it was so low.
Yeah, there
it's
is a
real wet.
portion, so the RDOT did move the alignment away from the road. So I don't know if you know, we're by the bypass, by the wastewater plant. We were up on the shoulder, and RDOT didn't like that alignment. They wanted to push us down to the very bottom. Well, the very bottom is very wet. And so we're gonna have to use like 3 foot of shell to build that in there. So that's another place where there's significantly more shell than we anticipated. I mean, we were gonna get by with no shell on the top side and, a foot and a half on the bottom. And now we're going 3 foot the whole way. So there was a few items like that. But, and some of it was just underestimated, so.
Yeah,
I will
Bobby-
say on the
Go ahead.
the first phase, so you're aware of that, that came in just almost like $2,000 under. So we have been managing them well to this point. The first phase of the trails actually came in under budget. Very little, but it was under budget, which is super hard to do right now. And y'all know the environment and bidding and contract prices. And I feel like, Bobby has given us a fantastic project. He's been very easy to work with. He's, easy to communicate with, so feel very
And
confident.
I don't think anyone was upset about that. I think we were just trying to understand, like, the huge disparity between what we had previously talked about, around the
Yeah.
200,000, and it just jumped. But you're saying we had wrong information, so.
Yeah, most of that was set the shell, the additional shell that was required, and some culverts that were installed. So,
also very wet back behind Southridge. Bobby and I took a little trail tour, and
Yes.
I didn't realize how marshy it is back there.
Yeah, and he used a little bit more around the wastewater pond than, Mike could have got by with less, but it's one of those things, they've done a great job, and I hate, if he uses a little more shell, the longevity of the trails
Right.
probably increased. It's not something that, and he's using his judgment, which he's done a ton more asphalt work than I have, so, he's very qualified, and I trust, he's doing the right thing. So,
And the trail does look fabulous. Everything has a base up into where the bridge is to go in. And they've got to do abutments and before they put the bridge in. And then the only thing that doesn't have a base is where Clint was saying at the bypass.
correct.
That's where we've stopped.
And I would say one other thing. For the cost, I think we're going to have one of the nicest trails, in the state. It's going to be beautiful where it goes through, all the easements and the property owners that donate. This is some beautiful property that we go right through, starting at ASU, and going all the way out to the ball complex and passing through some, right along Sulphur Creek the entire way. It's a really tremendous asset for the community. So, and I think Frank, if you guys want to hear Frank, he would further that conversation.
Come on up, Frank.
Do y'all have any questions on the remaining items or
What was our overage on the shell, dollar amount, give or take?
the dollar amount? The shell is going to be over about 116,000 when you deduct out the 37 for the B-stone, because we use shell in place of that.
37,000 for the stone?
Yeah, it comes out to about 78,000 overage on the shell. So,
I'm Frank Wimberly, President of the Trails Council. I've had the opportunity to speak with most of you over the last 14-plus years that we've been working on this project. So I don't really feel like I have to do a sales talk here. I believe the people I've talked to, the mayor and some of the city council, knows the importance and the benefits and knows that this is an investment, not an expense. There's plenty of stats, plenty of studies on trails that can nail down exactly what the return on investment is and where that comes from. But primarily, as you can guess, we're attracting people from out of the area to the area just for the trail. And that happened, I don't think anybody here realizes just how active that is, because I have the bike shop down here, so people inherently jump on my website or come by the store that's in town that don't know where things are. We give them the information. And I want to tell you, it's just overwhelming, the number of people. I can give you, for instance, on Eclipse weekend, we had one group from, they were having like a reunion here, and we rented out 26 bikes. And we didn't even have that many bikes. There were 26 people, so we gave them, half of them climbed Sugarloaf and half of them rode, and then they switched. And then coming up, we've got a group of, I think, 26 people called Texas 4000. And you might want to get in on this, learn a little bit about it, because we're trying to make a big deal out of it. Terry Parsons kind of heading it up. But what it is they ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska on bicycles that are not electrified, regular bikes, analog bikes I call them. And they're coming through Heber again this year, and we feed them, we put them up. And the trail has something to do with that. That's why I'm bringing it up. I could go on. I mean, I get calls, and every day, multiple calls, people coming by the store wanting to know about the trail, wanting maps and all that sort of thing. So, and we have counters on the trail. We're keeping good tabs on the trend, how it's getting used, how many people are using it, and that'll be some valuable information in the future if we need to extend things or whatever, and go to phase 3 or Phase 10 or wherever we're going with this thing. So my main thing, I want to use the word investment, and I do that every time I get a chance to speak to you guys because it's going to have a return. I want to say again what Clint has said about our board and our volunteers. You would not believe the sacrifices made to get this project done to this point. We have a heck of a board. We have volunteers doing work. Right now we're working on signage and safety features on the trail, all with volunteer labor. We've been very frugal up to this point. We bought a $150,000 pedestrian bridge for $12,000. It's about to be used on the trail. That saved us quite a hunt. And then just the labor, the volunteer labor, is saving us quite a bit. We spent a lot of time applying for grants. Got some grant money along the way. And some of it's 80-20 grants that you all know about because you approved the 20% match. And that's helped us along a lot. But those things take time, as you probably know. If you've dealt with grants, you probably know it takes a lot of time to put those together. And you don't always get them first shot. So we've been promoting the trail too. We've got a brand new website, and just today you can go on the website, gfltc.com, and you can do a rating on there. It's a new feature to it. So instead of the old logbook at the trailhead, now it's all digital. We'll have QR codes where people using the trail can go in and give us some feedback on the trail. Good, bad, or no, not ugly, just good or bad. And I think that's going to be a big help to help promote this. We have social media, we have a website. We've done all this, and all that stuff's not free. The Trails Council will pay for a lot of that. Just to sum it up, I've got 10 pages here, but I probably won't do that. But just to sum it up, this is a legacy that we can all be proud of. It's going to last a long time, maybe longer than some of the other projects that we spent a lot of money on. This is going to keep going. And one thing that I always like to remember, Dr. Mickey Barnett once said that dollar for dollar, the investment in this trail, the completed trail, will offer more benefits than any city project to date. And y'all know who Mickey was, our health officer and philanthropist. And anyway, I believe that's true. We're already seeing a lot of people dedicated to walking every day from a fitness aspect. We're seeing people use the trail for transportation enhancement, people that were driving their vehicles to work. I've talked to several people that are using the trail with bikes to get to work. This is why we built the trail, and it's working. So that's about all I can say as trying to help you understand the importance of the trail. And I hope you'll do the right thing and figure out a way to get this marathon, not a sprint, to the finish line. And we're almost there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you to the Trails Council for all their hard work that they've been doing for so many years.
Thank you.
So I had asked the Trails Council to put together a list of items, that they wanted to see completed just in case we had to pick it apart. However, I believe we have enough to finish the project.
I mean, the only thing I have a little bit of heartburn about is the overage on the shale, but it doesn't sound like there's much we can do about it. I mean,
Right.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Given the savings that that we have generated through the energy audit,
Yes. That will greatly help offset
yeah,
some costs.
I mean, that'll offset costs. How much do we have planned for the splash pad?
Around 1.4.
And the original bond for that was like, what, 600,000 or something, or 800,000?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I have a question
how did we not know that the highway department was gonna move us early on?
They're not real easy to work with.
But we've been at this for years, so.
We originally had submitted plans stuff on the thing, and as part of the approval, they just recently approved the underpass. So it was going through the approval process. If we would waited, it would have been like a year behind. So we were constructing as they were approving the parts of the permit. So that was part of the give and take with the underpasses. I didn't fight very hard on pushing this down the thing. It requires more shell than it gets the pedestrians and the bikers away from the road, so couldn't argue much from a safety standpoint.
Didn't mean to interrupt, Jim, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I was just kind of thinking out loud. I mean, we've spent how many millions on this particular project now?
Almost the whole 1.6.
Okay, so 1.6 million, and if we don't complete the last 300,000 of it, essentially the second half of it will wash away with heavy rains and all the other stuff.
Well,
Well,
the base should last a very long time, but
But not
it's
as-
still not completed as, the
Right.
bridge is not in.
The bridge is not in, all the other stuff. So, looking at this list, and this is just my opinion, is I think we stop at 11 and hit it right at 300,000 and let the volunteers finish it off. Is my opinion on it. That would basically remove the painting of the existing bridge and the signs.
Mhm.
That way we get all the hardware that we need to be done.
Yes.
And then the rest of the beautification can just be done,
Mhm.
whenever. We can raise money for it, I think it'll be easier to raise money for it once it's done and we can show it.
Yeah.
All
well-
this stuff that we need equipment for will be
Mhm.
done.
Well, and we can apply for grants in the future
Sure,
to get other little things done.
sure, but at least we'll
Along
have
the way.
fulfilled our obligation and what we promised the voters.
Correct.
The trail will be done, we'll minimize the cost, we'll make just a couple sacrifices and get what we want. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I think it's doable financially. I shouldn't say think, it is doable.
It was just a matter of getting this.
My roots go pretty
Right.
deep here.
Correct.
That way we could explain.
It wasn't a matter to do or not to do.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
a matter of getting the information so we can do.
Yeah.
So this is overage, basically, so this will have to come out of general if we decide to vote to do this, until we can either get it, or does it,
No, it can still come out of the bond.
does it come out of the bond, it's just coming out of the other pool, because that one's exhausted already, right? But we're still
Correct.
above what the voters voted for, dollar amount, by 2 times,
Yes.
so. Should we make a motion? Do we have to motion this?
Please.
And how long will it take to complete it?
He's ready to get going again. He's
Yeah,
on
he-
hold right now, so I would anticipate within a month and a half.
It'll be done.
Completion?
Completion?
Yeah, there's not much left. So he says that he can get going in a month, about 2 months, so.
150,000 a month.
That's fast.
All right, so what is it, the total? It's
Is it
3,
17,174?
yeah.
Well,
No, we have 16,000 in the original budget. Is that still there?
It is.
So the shortfall's 329, so it'd be 303. 303, let's say up to $305,000. Should that be the motion, up to $305,000? That way if they
Okay.
fill in an extra hole, they can.
Did you say I make a motion?
All right, so I'll make the motion to complete the trails up to $305,000. I guess to complete the trails. Is there anything else that needs to be associated with that? We don't need to really discuss or have in the motion where the money's coming
Ju-
from.
I don't think so. I think just to
Same bucket.
Okay.
say that the funds are allocated for such.
Okay.
And JP seconded.
Mhm.
Any discussion? Okay, Ms. Vicky?
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Louis Louis Short,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Great, motion carried.
Frank, you know any good painters? Frank, you know any good painters?
You're welcome.
I just want to say thank you. I hope you're using the trail and understand how beautiful it is and how valuable it is.
It is gorgeous. Thank you all for being here tonight and for all the hard work that you've done.
Frank, get a hold of me later regarding community service work, probably.
Oh, yeah?
So holler.
I want to thank y'all too from the Sugarloaf Shredders team. We use those trails and we're on them all the time and we help maintain those trails. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're gonna be so excited.
Yay. Okay, great. New business. I want to set the cemetery decoration day for June 1st. So that's really just an announcement. Next, appoint Miss Angie Mix for another term on the AMP Commission. We'll need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
What did Angie say about it?
She's not here. She's not here, just go on.
She's like, well. No, she's in. Vicky,
who made the motion?
Lewis, and Melissa.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, we have a zoning change request on One Park Road, and this ordinance will have to be read at 3 separate meetings.
I'll do it. I would just like a hard copy.
I gotta find it.
I got you.
You have it out? Jim's got his packet all neatly together. I don't want him to break it. Oh, good.
Oh, good, there's lots of directions.
Oh, yes. We've got coordinates. Are you ready?
Ready?
Ordinance number,
2024-14.
Well, will we have one
If
now,
it-
or do you have to wait till it passes?
If it passes, yes.
Well, it's gonna be 3 months.
Yeah,
okay, it may
that's the
change.
number it
The
will be
number-
if it
That's number will be
passes.
if it passes. It stays. It's a placeholder.
Okay,
Well, that's true. If we,
that's, yeah.
you know,
It'll be that number when, the day it passes.
Yeah.
unless we pass something else at
That's
the
right.
next
Right,
meeting
so
in between.
It may change.
We can,
Mystery number.
we won't get hung up on the number.
Okay.
An ordinance amending the zoning map attached hereto and for other purposes. I don't have to describe the map, do I?
No.
I'm about to. Whereas the zoning map of the city of Heber Springs classifies residential zone R1 the following described real property to wit. A part of the southwest quarter of the southwest quarter of section 16, township 10 north, range 10 west, Cleveland County, Arkansas, described beginning at the northeast corner of said southwest 1 quarter, then along the east line thereof south 1747 west 701.34 feet, then north 8650.45 west 13335.03 feet to a point on the west line of said southwest quarter, then along said west line north of 12458 east 171.1 feet, then south 86 degrees 50.39 east 360 feet, then north 12458 east 530.16 feet to a point on the north line of said southwest quarter by quarter, then along said north line south 8650.39 east 971.52 feet to the north to the point of the beginning containing 17.06 acres more or less, beginning more accurately described in a survey prepared by Nicholas Tucker, license number 1755 dated August 2022, as follows. Part of the southwest quarter of section 16, township 10 north, range 10 west, Cleveland County, beginning more particularly described as follows. Beginning at a found rebar, said point being at the northeast corner of said southwest quarter of the southwest quarter, thence along the east line of said southwest quarter of the southwest quarter, 11444W at a distance of 700.95 feet to a found rebar, thence leaving said east line, north 865611 west, a distance of 1335.03 feet to a point, said point being on the west line of said southwest quarter of the southwest quarter, thence along said west line, north 2806, a distance of 171.15 feet to a point, thence leaving said the west line, 87 degrees 5.03, a distance of 360 feet to a found rebar, thence north 1 degree 14.08, a distance of 529.22 feet to a found rebar, said point being on the north line of the said southwest quarter of the southwest quarter, thence along said north line 86 degrees 54.39, a distance of 971.84 feet to the point of the beginning. This tract contains 17.06 acres, more or less. Whereas a petition has been filed with the City of Heber Springs Planning and Zoning Commission for rezoning of real property from residential zone R1 to rural resort zone RR, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas, having conducted a public hearing after giving a notice required by law and having approved said petition and recommended by the City Council, the rezoning of said land, and City Council having reviewed the same has determined it would be in the best interest of the City of Heber Springs and its inhabitants if said property was rezoned as requested. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas, as follows. Section 1, the ordinance number 2024-14, and the zoning map of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas be and it hereby is amended to show the above described real properties reclassified from residential zone R1 to rural resort zone RR for consideration upon the conditions herein above set out. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict.
You can't skip the next 2 months.
You may not show up next month.
Maybe not. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
You're a pro.
More or less.
And we'll read it again next month.
All right, sounds good. I'll be
Okay,
ready.
next, new city hall expenses.
So the original budgeted estimate was what, 159 or something like that?
Well, we had talked in the past about having a budget of 150
Right,
for the whole project.
whole project.
So the only thing that's been budgeted was for the flooring, that was 50,000.
Right.
And we
Is that
came
in?
we came in under that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to make sure you guys knew, you know, kind of what the range was that we were looking at spending. My only concern is the security quote. I don't think it's gonna be that much because that was a pretty bougie list of things that, he sent me.
Are we storing files for the police department?
I think so. We have all kinds of files.
And long-term evidence.
Yeah, long-term evidence.
So we probably need to, is there some kind of code that we have to follow of how that has to be guarded in a new building?
Yeah.
What?
It's in the vault.
It's in the vault.
Some of the long-term evidence will be in the vault.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And, plus all of our HR records and records from, 1918, all that stuff. Lots.
So this was
of
just
stuff.
more of an update of how much we spent so far, or how much we have?
Yes, a couple of these things we have already purchased. I just wanted to get it approved in one lump sum. I thought it'd be easy since we did the fire department, or the public safety building the same way.
Okay.
That way we could just go ahead and approve it,
When
and
do you guys think you're gonna be in?
I am pushing for the end of this month,
Okay.
really hard.
We're gonna do like a meet and greet down there, a little?
We're gonna have an open house.
All right.
It's gonna be a party.
New City Hall. I was stalling you the whole time while I was opening that file.
Good job.
Looks like you'll be coming in 41,000 under budget, so that's,
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
That's what it looks like. Are you sure the roof repair is necessary?
Sounds like you might be up there again right now.
No roof, no.
He's been fantastic to work with.
I mean, I think if we're coming in under budget, we're gonna end up with a nice product. It's hard for us to do anything but say congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need something
Should
on that,
we-
or you just saying good?
Since the total is, over my allotted amount, if we can just go ahead and make a motion to approve it, I'd be a lot more comfortable.
I
That's
make a
okay.
motion to approve these expenditures for
I know
the
you're
new
just
city
gonna
hall.
But before you do that, you're just gonna home in on security, what's actually needed versus the.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, it's still gonna be under budget.
I mean, it'd still be nice to have some cameras up and some nice stuff. I just don't know. I've read through the quotes.
Yeah,
and
I know, it's hard to
I
understand.
understand,
He's gonna have to
yeah.
come draw me a picture. But I think that there's like 8 cameras on there, and they're like top of the line, and I don't think we need anything that fancy. I
Okay.
think we need one really good one to face 110, so we can catch traffic, and then maybe 3 others. And then
Just
we'll,
as long as you have them do the infrastructure so that, I don't know if they're wireless or wired or whatever, but maybe run the wires while he's in there. or
we're gonna have to
something.
run the wires, and we're also gonna get the door lock system like we have at the public safety building with the fobs. So I think that's the kind of costly part. And then, what else was there?
A panic button.
Oh, yeah, a couple of panic buttons, we're gonna need those. And then the little screen when they buzz in.
Well, and I don't need to know all the details. I guess we approve it to this amount, but hopefully you can come in
Yeah,
under it.
it won't be that much.
I mean, are you thinking $2,000 off, $5,000 less? I mean, do you have any rough idea?
I have no idea.
So, up to that, it's still good.
Yeah.
I think it-
What was their reason for suggesting 8 cameras?
I mean, they're all over the building.
I
And they're,
mean,
and they're like the top of
to
the
get
line.
every angle,
Yeah,
every.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be.
I'm pro-security so I'm speaking from that angle.
yeah,
I'm not against 8 cameras.
yeah.
I'm not against good cameras that we can focus in on seeing people's face and knowing who we need to get, if we need to get them.
And hope we never
Think-
have to
So
use
I
it.
hope we don't need, I don't think we need 8 of those.
Okay, well,
Cameras,
I'm asking
but-
because are they outside?
They'll be both inside and
Yeah.
outside.
Okay. Well, I think we just approve it up to that amount, like Lane said. And if you have some savings, great. If not,
I've saved everywhere else, so that's my goal.
Casey, I have a football game to get to.
Okay, thank you, Lewis.
Good luck.
I think my question was more around why would someone suggest 8? Because they want to make a big sale or because they really feel like for us to be secure, we need 8?
probably both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both, probably.
Okay.
I would assume.
Was there a motion on the floor?
He
Lane.
Yeah, which kind of held back on it.
Okay.
but,
I'm sorry, I was just.
You're good.
No, you made the motion, right, Lane?
Yes, yeah.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Can you make the motion?
Again?
So I can write it down.
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the expenditures for new city hall, including up to 24,000 on the securities. I don't know if we have to have that in there.
I
or
would
not.
just do it as a whole, as a
Just
total.
do it as,
Up-
just
up
do it as
to-
the whole thing that we.
up to
Make
59.
a motion, up to 59,000 on expenses for the new city hall.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Ms. Vicki?
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs.
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
JP Hodges.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, guys. I look forward to getting it finished. Okay, next is a recycle grant application. We just need permission. It's a 75-25 grant, and we're looking at hopefully to put that toward a leaf vac. Scott is still working on some quotes. He's gotten one that was up to $142,000. So if we were to get the full grant, we would still be liable for 25% of that.
That's less than 140,000.
45%,
So moved.
75%.
Second.
What's the lead time on getting the leaf vac?
What's that?
What's the lead time on getting the leaf vac?
Depends with them. I'm waiting for, I already got it from Spark, sent it to them.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for one from Deep Cleaner. Deep Cleaner said I could get it quicker through them. Yes, they do it as well. Spark is through another company that Heber uses. They're looking at probably almost a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Any more questions? Vicki?
JP Hodges,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Andy Eklund.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, we would like to apply for a Fun Park grant. It's up to $100,000. It's a 50-50. We were hoping to do maybe a small project at Spring Park. Josh, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. There's just a newer design of a splash pad when Nick and I went to Minnesota that is a smaller splash pad. It's basically just has one hub in the middle, it kind of outlets. There's 6, you can get, I think, up to 12. So it's just a small splash pad. They're in that $125,000 range or something like that. The whole project would be knocking out the old bathrooms and that concession stand
y'all think?
So we wouldn't have bathrooms anymore?
We have those new bathrooms down there.
The new bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the new bathrooms will be the ones that are used daily.
I mean, I think it's a great idea, but honestly, I'm a little bit lukewarm about it until we get the splash pad done. We don't even know what we're into with that, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I think it's a great idea, I love it, but we don't even know what we have to maintain already. It's coming up next year. We got the splash pad, all the other stuff we've got going on, so I'm a little bit, are we biting off more and more and more without really understanding the costs that are gonna be permanent based on here on out, but that's just my opinion. I mean,
That's
it's
okay.
awesome that you're finding those.
I personally, if we're gonna get another grant, would rather see it used at the ball fields.
And there's a lot of work that needs to be done at the ball fields as well.
We can pick a different project. That's no problem.
But 100,000 is not enough to do it.
Well, yeah, it's not gonna go far.
I mean, I don't know if you're getting calls, but my phone's blown up about the ball field stuff.
This is the fun part, Grant.
Not being able to play, not being used, not having to go somewhere else because we can't get our fields ready.
Yeah, we had a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks, and we've not been able to play, like literally water standing on the field, even with the tarp that we have on the big field. I mean, the tarp repels the water, but it also should take that water off. If you just leave that tarp with water sitting on top of it, it's gonna end up seeping through, and that's what it does on field 6. So field 6 has been horrible this season. That's the high school
Big.
field. Yeah.
I would like to see us start planning that, I mean, with maybe in combination and teaming up with the high school, that we start putting turf on 6 and, was it 1?
High school softball.
Yes,
The one-
that we get 1 and 6, start getting them, I mean, there's,
Well, we also need to get movable bases and movable mounds too, so that we can use.
I don't know about that. I
It's
don't know
always
about that.
frustrating to go out and not be
Our
able to
purchase of temporary mounds was a waste of money,
But did we get some already?
yes.
When did we have those?
And they got torn up the first time they were used because people are using cleats and they can't go to the bullpens just with
I got you.
tennis shoes on, so they got ruined immediately.
Josh, am I reading this correctly, that there are actually two different funding options available? There are two different grants available. One's a 50-50 matching grant, and the other one's a 100% no matching grant?
That's how I read it as well, but I've read it
It does
before
say
where
the two
it's,
funding programs.
Well, yeah, I mean, it says the 50-50 matching grant is one option. The other option is the facilities for underdeveloped neighborhoods, and that's the fund. And the fund grant is 100% no match.
the one that we applied for before, which I think is before I got here, was the non-matching. It was just things like that one.
That was the fun?
We've done both.
Is that the one we didn't get last year?
Yeah,
We've
we've done both.
done both. And it does say that priority's is to be given to places that haven't received for at least 21 years.
When did we get the last one, or did we get denied?
I think we've had one in the past.
I mean, 100% would be the one that I would go for if we were gonna do it.
Are you reading it the same way I'm reading it?
Yeah, if
About
there's
the
I mean,
50/50
if there's an
matching,
option for 100%,
Yeah.
2 funding programs are still available, the 50/50 and the fund grant.
right.
So I would've, if you were gonna do one, the fund grant, the 100% one would be the one to go with. I would just hate to get it and then, I mean, do you feel confident that we can get the ball fields back in whipped up shape, take care of the splash pad, do all the renovations in here and do that without expanding either our personnel number or, there's a lot to maintain already.
The splash pads seem to be pretty simple. I mean, there is obviously work to be done with that, but you're also looking at just seasonal. Those will be ran, just in spring and summer.
Okay.
So that's the way I kind of view that.
Okay.
We are looking at expanding some of our sports programs, like what we have fall baseball, fall softball, doing things like that.
Sure.
So we'll hopefully get fields. That's a big part of it too. We just got a quick quote from the hip from a guy who came and looked at our fields with AgriTurf.
Uh-huh.
And he's told us we need about $20,000 worth of dirt for each field to even get it back up to where it is. Just over there, I guess probably 12 years, 14 years of erosion, and things like that. Like how the dirt has just been kind of washed out. And field 6 was the worst field that we have. You can definitely tell outfield Wednesday night, pulled it off at 6:30 in the morning on Thursday, and it was like we didn't even put the tarp on. I mean, there's 3-4 inches of water just sitting on top of the tarp.
So would we be able to use these funds
That's not
grant for
quite
that?
exactly how that happened, but
What do you mean?
didn't have enough people to get the tarp off, and it basically just rolled the water back into it.
No, we put the tarp on it correctly, so all the tarp covered, it went all the way out to the outfield and all the way, there's no way that water would got around.
It's the getting it off, not the putting it down.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we laid it down correctly, so there's no way water would.
Yeah, it was laid down correctly, just wasn't taken off correctly.
I disagree.
So we can reach out to Carrie tomorrow and find out.
Would that be able to be used for something like that and improving our existing ones so we don't have baseball fields that are in need of something and then adding something new somewhere else is what I'm getting at, I guess.
I have a question on the erosion. Is there like a time frame? Like, do we need to put something like maintenance wise to make sure that we're on a schedule dumping dirt or whatever we need to do to?
I think what Mr. Tubbs said is correct, like, the turf would be the way to go nowadays, and like, once you do turf, I mean, you're looking at a lifespan of 20 years plus, and personally, I think I have probably 20 years left. I'd much rather do that and be done with it versus 10 years from now, me going back and saying, hey, we need another $100,000 worth of dirt to do this again.
Would eliminate also a lot of maintenance and.
100%.
Yeah.
Move mowing?
That would actually
Yeah.
probably lower,
So,
personnel, like, we wouldn't have as
How
many
many-
fields to take care of.
I'd love to
Josh,
see
how
this
many
on
do
a
we-
spreadsheet. I'd love to see it
Yeah.
on a
I'd just like to
spreadsheet.
get a quote
Like,
for it, too.
yeah, and that way we can
Josh, how
make
many,
the best decision.
how many people do we have to take care of the stuff?
3.5.
How many do you need?
We've had 4, and, I mean, really, we just don't have, field 8's the only field, regardless if it rains or not, we can kind of get ready.
Yeah.
You know, I personally, I wasn't here a long time ago, but to me, what I've been told is that was a horse pasture in the past.
Yeah.
And to me, you can almost tell, field 6 almost looks like it was a pond, where field 5 was. You can see how much lower that is, even though field 5 and 7, field 6 goes down. So field 6 is our worst field by far, so that's the high school field. Same thing on the other side, field 2 and field 3 are lower than field 4 is the one that's built up, softball field that's built up with a bunch of dirt on it. And it's just, it's awkward the way that was built, you know, like, it's not a straight clover like most facilities are. But it is, it's just, holds water. Like, when it rains, it just sits in there and.
And we've got 3 or 4 of the overhead awnings and stuff that are all ripped up.
Yeah, those are about 4,000, I don't know, I don't think we got on this agenda, but I do have a quote for that.
Would you
$4,000.
replace that again with canvas, or would you put metal up?
Canvas obviously looks a lot better.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
pleasing to the eye. I'm not sure, I'm assuming those were probably back in 2010 as well? Probably
We
replaced
Yeah,
at
it's
the same
all-
time.
yeah.
We replaced them once, haven't we?
Have we?
What?
Not since I've been on.
Not since we've been on, but I think they've been replaced.
They have been replaced.
What
Well,
shape?
they're $3,900 a piece is what they are, and we need 5
So like,
as of now that are ripped.
my question is too, like, we're having all these ball field discussions, like, how much is it hurting us that we're not charging gate fees anymore, where that could be an additional revenue stream to help pay for some of these improvements?
I mean, I think that was I think it was 30,000, I believe, is roughly what we make in gate fees. For that, I think it helps us. I think concession stand sales have gone up, because of that. But I also think part of that also is the kiosk. When we do get the kiosk installed at Sandy Beach, and we've already got it sitting over in the aquatic center, that's gonna obviously eclipse any of that money. Hopefully looking at $70,000-$80,000 a year just in that kiosk.
But
That would make it quite
what I think the point is that like every other one charges in the thing, and that could be a lot of O and M that could cover. You know, that'd be all your,
When you say everyone, I'm assuming Big 12.
yes.
And I understand, and I've always looked at it, when you look at Batesville, Searcy, Cabot, those, they do not charge.
It's been a lot more pleasant to go out and get in the park
It has
easier
been.
without it.
Yeah. I do agree with that. But anyway, I digress. So do you need more people to take care? Because you mow the park, right? And here,
Sandy Beach, Spring Park,
Eagle Bank Park,
Eagle Bank Park, Altice Park,
the ball fields, and that includes this golf course and here as well. So Butterville Falls, minimal stuff that we do, and the fire stations, we mow the fire stations as well. Though we just take out trash from Butterville Falls occasionally. So we
So
have
does that
staff.
leave your guys much time to actually take care of the ball fields as is? Like,
That
turn them into
usually-
really good?
Whatever their day schedule is, they go out until noon, and then they go have lunch, and then from noon to 4, like today, we had every field besides field 5 ready, and they were done by 3:30.
Okay.
So, I mean, it doesn't take that long. It's this time of year, and that's kind of the issue that I saw last year, is when, once the season is over, it gets hot, and I have guys who, when they left the city, told me, hey, from September to February, we sit around. It's not a whole lot for us to do.
So seasonal work then?
Seasonal work is something
Two
that.
more?
What I tried to do this season was, I believe it was 6, I think I was asking for, I can't remember, but be able to hire 6 part-time employees just for seasonal work for that 12, 13 weeks, and then let them go afterwards. And that, I feel like that saves the city, because we're not doing benefits that way, we're not having to do anything.
I mean, who would oversee that group of people?
I would.
Who would oversee, okay, so would high school students be applicable?
Can't be on a lawnmower.
Can't what?
Can't be on a lawnmower.
No, from
It's
my
hard,
understanding,
it's hard to find that part-time
no
person.
meters, no lawnmowers, unless you're over 18 or over.
College kids.
Yeah, I get it. There's my kids can be beaten when he's 14.
College kids could do it, I guess. I don't know. People are home from college.
We've either gotta have somebody to do it, or do more of it, or focus more on it, some kind of way.
We've got a
As
beautiful
opposed-
facility out there. We've got to.
Because the same weather's happening to Concord and Greers Ferry, and Pangbird and Rosebud, and they're playing, so, I mean, we're taking home games and going there to play. I mean, I'm getting wore out on it.
Well, and from my understanding, Rosebud does have parks on all the fields. Is that right? I mean, I just know because Brad was one of the ones, he had to go to Rosebud to play a home game the
Yeah,
other night just
yeah.
to get it in. So while we only have technically one tarp that's on our high school field, apparently Rosebud has tarps for all their fields, and they tarp the fields. And, you know, if you keep the water off, you'll be able to play.
How much
is
are
the
those
park?
tarps?
Depending on the
Expensive.
size, like for a high school field, I believe they're in that $12,000 to $15,000 range.
I'd rather put it toward turf.
And then you'd have the smaller ones in that $8,000 to $10,000 range.
Okay, so we'll get a quote for turf and see how that goes, and,
I mean, planning down the road or
Yeah.
whatever.
Like turf and infield. So
Yes.
just,
Turf the infield,
Exactly.
drainage in the outfield, and
so to
Just
bring
like
this
that,
whole,
that's it.
full circle,
yes.
if we can use the fund grant on something like that, I'm in favor of it. In
Okay.
terms of- I'm not in favor of doing a splash pad additional.
me neither.
Okay, the application deadline isn't until August, so
Perfect.
why don't we do a little more research on some projects and bring it back?
But, I mean, would that work for you?
Absolutely. No, I mean, that's.
Oh, the
something that I would love to-
never mind, the application has to be submitted by
No,
the
they-
23rd.
That's what I say.
So
it's
we'll,
23rd.
we'll check on that, yeah, May 23rd,
So we have to vote on it now.
yeah, pretty much.
I think you're gonna find that you're gonna be about $14,
And
$15 a square
I
foot.
think we're supposed to do resolution.
On the turf?
Yeah.
Can we do a motion contingent upon using it into a specific spot, or, I mean, does it matter?
You're still applying for the grant either way.
Yeah, applying for the grant.
You don't have to tell them what you're applying for it?
No, you do.
No, yeah, it's full, you have to
You
tell
do.
the full project. So
Okay, well then probably gonna miss it.
I don't know that.
You always do it next year.
Or the 16th of the month.
Well, the fund grant is 100% funded with a maximum dollar amount of 100,000.
if you apply for it and you get the grant, does it have a timeline on how quickly you have to use the money?
This paper doesn't say. But I'm sure they'll give us a timeline.
I do know there's a town hall meeting that has to be scheduled along with it as well. So I mean, it's not just
Yeah,
one thing, you have to have input from the public and things like that as well.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to apply for the fund grant, as long as,
100% matching
100% matching
on the condition.
on the condition that it can be used at the
I'll do it.
ballpark.
I'll do it. I'm in. I got this.
Get it?
I'd like to make a motion that we apply for the 100% no-match fund grant, facilities for underdeveloped neighborhoods, for the use of baseball field improvement, or what is it called, Mayor Square general improvement.
I'd second that.
All right, thank you, Lane. Any more discussion? Okay, Ms. Vicky?
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges,
Yes.
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs.
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, we have the Sandy Beach kiosk installation. And the only thing we need approved is the top two numbers, which would be $29,230. We're gonna do the roadway lane improvement in-house. Mr. Williams, is he still here? Do you have anything to add to this, Nick? Do you have
I
any-
arrived at the number. I'm just messing. Yeah, I'm kidding.
This was our, this is the lowest bid.
So do we have any idea, like, when that will be installed? I mean, I know we have to do road work and all that, but is there any kind of timeline?
Vote on it tonight, I think he's thinking about starting the week after next.
Go
So
ASAP.
$40,000 basically.
29,
How are we on all of
230. So I just need a motion to accept the bid at $29,230 for the Sandy Beach kiosk installation.
Is that enough in the fund? You did with my last one. Oh, I'm in May. Sorry.
What are you saying over there?
I'm mumbling to myself. I'm looking at Parks and Rec budget, is what I'm doing, seeing what we've got in accounts, in our accounts. Well, if we don't put it in, it's probably just a nice, really nice water ornament, I guess, over there in the.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept the bid for $39,490 for installation of the kiosk.
29,230.
Wait, what?
We're only voting, we're only to the first,
The first two
First-
items.
Oh,
which
Not-
totaled $29,230.
he didn't have a mic, in fairness. I didn't hear that.
Because you're mumbling to yourself.
I was looking at the budget, $29,230.
I second that.
Any discussion? Miss Vicky?
Andy Eklund,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes.
Melissa Choate,
Yes.
Lane Tubbs,
Yes.
Jim Adams,
Yes.
J.P. Hodges.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, we've got open mic. Would anybody like to address the council? All right. Got announcements. Don't really have many announcements. We've got Makers Market, Foodie Fest, Bronco Stampede was good. Anybody have anything else? Graduation's coming up. We get to finish the trail. Huh? I don't know. Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you, guys.